So, for months now, there has been a growing cottage industry built around creating narratives about Kendrick Lamar, TDE, PG Lang, and anyone remotely associated with them. What's interesting is how quickly the goalposts continue to move, though. At first, the criticism was that Kendrick wasn't doing enough for the West. Never mind the fact that throughout his entire career, he has consistently collaborated with West Coast artists, elevated regional talent, and even used major platforms like the Black Panther soundtrack to showcase both veteran and rising talent from his home region alongside artists from across the globe. If you watch any Kendrick Lamar music video, you will see he consistently uses all of his childhood friends and associates as extras. Even the dancers get a shot. If you look at his staff, they consist of people he grew up with. So the narrative of him not helping out the West or the people closest to him doesn't really hold up under scrutiny. And I haven't even touched on his community service efforts to the youth and the elderly. But of course, the conversation shifts when you point out the facts. The next complaint became, well, why aren't there any women featured on GNX? He don't like the female rappers out there. That argument also fell apart once more information surfaced. Members of the Cuzzles were on back on Fig and explained they were originally intended to appear on GNX. They were supposed to be featured on Dodger Blue, which could explain why the song is so short. But ultimately, they felt they couldn't adapt to the record. And they knew what they were putting out wasn't up to the standard that they know Kendrick Lamar would request. Rather than expressing resentment, they publicly stated they were happy with how things played out. They were even featured in the Squabble Up music video. So here we are, another narrative quietly debunked. But a grifter gone grift, and the latest talking point making its rounds is the claim that artists featured on GNX were allegedly forced to choose between either a $10,000 payment or royalties for their participation on the album. Now, this is interesting to me, especially because nobody actually involved with the project has publicly confirmed that story that they had to choose between either or. There was an instance where Hitter J3 left a comment under a video or a post, but we will get into that a little bit later. But again, not one featured artist has come forward to substantiate the claims. In fact, outside of Dodie 6, a situation that deserves its own context, in my opinion, the overwhelming majority of artists associated with the project have expressed nothing but gratitude for the opportunity and speak positively about Kendrick Lamar. Again, context matters, especially when it comes to Dodie 6. Dodie 6 initially voiced frustrations because he was simultaneously navigating a series of deeply personal hardships. He was dealing with homelessness, he was dealing with mental health issues, grieving the loss of a child, recovering from what I believe to be a gang related DP. I don't know, you got to look that shit up yourself. But and he was later involved in a serious car accident. Eventually, Dodie Six retracted his statements, apologized to Kendrick Lamar, and publicly clarified that his issues with Kendrick Lamar wasn't warranted. There was no reason for him to have an issue with Kendrick because Kendrick did his part. And now Dodie Six affairs are in order. Dodie is no longer homeless and working on his mental health issues that I think is a terrible thing for grifters to try to exploit.
Homeless Dodie. Dodie just bought a 5-bedroom, 2 bathrooms. Dead homies, you better get right. The bag landed and I'm acting up. Dead homies.
Dodie's situation is a very different situation than the story grifters and members of the Nation of Drizlam are attempting to sell to the public. And more recently, MWAP, shout out to WAP and the Wapulation, a longtime childhood friend of Kendrick Lamar and respected figure within TDE's ecosystem. He addressed the latest rumors directly on his platform. I believe it's called the Apollo. According to MWAP, artists involved with the project received both compensation and royalty participation. So let's roll the clip.
What is it? Royalties or whatever that shit was? I don't know how it went, but it went crazy. Niggas started making fake clips like I confirmed that was actually a thing. And I'm like, bro, the internet is so crazy. You know what I'm saying? or whatever the case. It went crazy all on the internet. Like the MWAP confirmed that was a thing and all this kind of and all that. You feel me? And it's so trippy though, cause like the Drake fans is shout out to the shouts out. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their role to play up in this world. You know what I'm saying? And they just running with it, and I'm tripped out like, wow, this is like we speaking, me and TL speaking towards a hypothetical, and they like, yeah, he confirmed it, whatever the case. So now I had to tap in with my folks to confirm, like to get the real deal story on what happened with this whole situation. You know what I'm saying? And they confirmed that these people got their chili plus their royalties. They don't even know where this story came from. You know what I'm saying? Shout out my boy J3. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't give y'all the real deal because I don't think he was well informed on the whole situation of how the stuff played out or goes about or whatever the case. So my people let me know what happened. They confirmed how everything went and goes with this situation. So for everybody out there that want to know, so we could just nip that in the bud. These people got their chili plus their royalties, man. They gonna be all right. They doing good. You know what I'm saying? So don't believe the hype, all that propaganda. It is what it is. You feel me? I'm hollering that. Yeah, I would just let it be. I don't even want to go deep into the story I was having with motherfuckers. But we love the narratives. Niggas be laughing at the narratives. I can say that much. The homies be laughing at the narratives for sure. So, I was laughing at my folks laughing at these narratives, man. It's like they to the point where my people sending me clips of what niggas is saying and they laughing at it like, yo, this right here had me crying, this narrative. I swear to God, I was like, for sure. As long as you find it funny, because I was getting irritated with some of these niggas' narratives at some point. But my folks found it funny, so I was like, all right, cool. I don't even care to debunk that for real on the internet no more. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the shouts out. You know what I'm saying? W to PG Lane, WTDE. Shouts out to the shouts out. My boy Dave Freeze out there on an island somewhere, smoking cohibas, feet kicked up, better living, man. Blue waters. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so again, shout out to MacWAP for clarifying and putting an end to the narrative. Also, head of J3, I know you mean well, but sometimes it's okay to shut the fuck up. You don't always got to be on the internet trying to prove something. Now, whether someone chooses an upfront payment, royalties, or a combination of both is a normal business discussion within the music industry. Every deal is different. Every artist has different needs. Some people prefer immediate guaranteed money. Others prefer long term ownership and royalty participation. In reality, many professionals negotiate both. The point is that these are business arrangements, not scandals. What's fascinating is how certain personalities continue to present speculation as established fact despite lacking confirmation from the people actually involved. Every time one narrative collapses, another appears out of thin air almost immediately. The people closest to the project have largely spoken positively. The artists themselves have largely spoken positively. The individuals who were actually in the rooms, on the records, and a part of the process have largely spoken positively. Yet somehow the loudest outrage continued to come from people who weren't involved. At a certain point, listeners have to ask themselves a simple question: why are outsiders working harder to convince us there was a problem than the people who actually participated in it? The answer may be uncomfortable. For some commentators, controversy has become the product. Outrage is the business model. The truth is often less valuable than the engagement generated by implying something sinister happened behind the scenes. That's why these stories tend to follow a predictable pattern. A claim is made, social media runs with it, evidence is requested, evidence is either given or evidence doesn't need to be given. The conversation moves on to the next accusation, and then we rinse, wash, and repeat. It's a shame because genuine criticism has value, right? Honest analysis has value. Journalism has value. But manufacturing narratives around people based on assumption, anonymous speculation, and internet whispers doesn't inform audiences. it simply feeds an endless cycle where facts become secondary to whatever story performs the best that day. And frankly, that's a dangerous way to operate. Anyone willing to casually spread claims without evidence is demonstrating that the destination matters more than the truth. Once someone becomes comfortable crossing that line, it becomes difficult to know where the next line is. The reality is simple. The people who actually participated in GNX have overwhelmingly expressed appreciation for their experiences. Multiple individuals close to the situation have pushed back against the claims. And until actual evidence emerges from actual participants, rumors remain exactly what they are, rumors. Everything else is just content. And word to AZ Chike, y'all are being disrespectful and calling it content. It is amazing to me how a person had an issue with TDE and its associates based on the things that they said about said person. And because you realize that nobody actually give a fuck about your issues with TDE and its associates, now you turned your target to Kendrick Lamar. Now here's your new grift. You didn't have an issue with Kendrick Lamar before, but you notice that the Nation of Drislam is backing you and you are enjoying the engagement because it's something you never quite had before. Again, it's scary the lengths that people will go for attention. But cousins, let me know how you feel about this topic. Leave a comment, like this video, hype this video, and y'all be safe. I will catch y'all in my next one. Later.